Good afternoon, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. This is about the 5th time that I have recorded this video and deleted it, so hopefully this is going to be the one. I hope everybody enjoys the video. It's an exciting topic. I think it's a very important topic today that we're going to talk about. We're not just going to talk about gold and silver. We're actually going to talk about a few other things that I think are important, but I know some of these subjects are touchy to different people. Whether they are anti some of these subjects. I think that it's good to hear an opinion. I hope that people just think about what I'm going to say. Some of what I'm going to talk about today is hard because I don't want to come across, one, like a hypocrite, or two, overprepared, or three, really anything, because I try not to offend the audience. I try to kind of stay with my beliefs, but stay away from certain subjects because some of them can come across the wrong way to some people out there. Because, you know, even though the majority of the people that watch the channel are a member of the stacking community, there's a lot more than stacking gold and silver. There's a lot more in life that's more important than, and even people that know me, that are good friends of mine that are watching this channel, are like, I can't even believe he's even bringing some of this up, because, you know, I worry sometimes if maybe I'm too obsessed with gold and silver, and I try to be well-rounded in a lot of different subjects, and I think it's important that people do get well-rounded in subjects. And I'm cautious on some of what I'm going to say. I'm not going to beat it too long, I guess you could say. I'm going to glaze over some of these topics, and some of these topics I am going to drill into for a little bit, because they're not as sensitive, I guess you could say. So with that being said, please help me out, especially this video, by hitting that thumbs up button, because some of what we're going to talk about is hard to talk about, and it exposes a little bit more of me, and I don't always share some of this, because I know that on making these videos, and people that know, I talk about money a lot. So by you hitting that thumbs up button, it kind of, it makes me a little more positive to open up in a way that I probably wouldn't normally open up. So, and I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. So the first thing I've got to say, because I don't want to say that gold and silver is the most important thing that you can do. I think about religion a lot. I think about God a lot. And I think that as much as I talk about gold and silver, I never really mention it, because it's a sore subject. There's a lot of people on YouTube that are maybe atheists, or maybe not religious, or maybe a different religion. And I find it really hard for me to study religion, because there's so many religions out there, and have a huge background in a lot of different religions that I don't really share too much about. I went to a Catholic business college, so obviously I've got some good Catholic background. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so I have that as a background. I've studied a long time with the Mormons, so I have that behind me a little bit. I had a couple friends that were hardcore atheists, and I tried to look into why they could believe what they believe, and a lot of different stuff. So like I said, I think it's important that people think about that, but I also think it's important that people are prepared for what I believe is coming down the line. So that's my most important thing first, but I do put gold and silver up there. I get comments all the time that you can't eat gold and silver, and you are 100% right. If you're watching this video still and you believe that you can't eat gold and silver, you're right. You're 100% right. However, I've done numerous videos on how you can walk into a restaurant or a business and trade gold or silver for food. If you're hungry and you've got a gold coin or a silver coin, you're not going to be hungry for long. It's not hard to sell. It's not hard to trade. There's so many opportunities once you stack, and it's a great way to save money. So even if nothing down the road happens, you know, you never have some crazy currency collapse or something like that, it's okay. It's still a savings. I mean, these coins right here, when I first started buying these coins, these are $5 gold eagles. You know, these were only $99, the first one I bought. I mean, when you think about that, $99, you ain't going to touch one of these today for less than $2.25. And they're only going to continue to go up, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. However, I think that if things got really ugly and all you have is gold and silver, you could be hurting. Why? Because people are going to be putting focus, I believe, on food. What kind of food? Beans, rice, canned goods, anything edible, people are going to put value on. It's going to be really important. Now, do I think you can trade a gold coin or a silver coin for it? Absolutely. But if hypothetically you go to to an individual who has maybe a case of beans and a case of rice, and you bought this coin, let's say at today's prices, $25 roughly, and someone says, what do you got? An ounce of silver? I'll tell you what, I'll give you a bag of beans and a bag of rice. I mean, a bag of beans like this might be $1.50. A bag of rice like this might be $1.50. That's $3. And you try to make that explanation to someone when there's no food out there, the demand, the scalping on stuff that people need is going to be obscene. So you're better off, I believe, to maybe buy one less ounce and put some beans and rice up at a bare minimum. If you're not a food prepper, I understand not everybody is a food prepper, but having food on hand when things get really ugly is essentially going to be just as important as having gold and silver. Gold and silver is great for the items that I didn't think about. I can trade this if need be. And hopefully you've got fractional, maybe some dimes, maybe some smaller stuff. Maybe you got some silver quarters sitting around that you can use to trade. Some people will try to cut this up. But here's the thing. When you're hungry and your kids are hungry and your wife is hungry or your significant other, whatever, and somebody has beans and rice, you're at their mercy. Because the truth of the matter is, you do need food. You need food to survive. You don't necessarily need silver. You want silver. People will want this. With beans and rice, it's not like it's going to go bad. I mean, if someone takes out a deer and he has extra and he's your neighbor, well, he might be tempted to trade you a deer quarter or a wild hog quarter for an ounce of silver. And that would be a great deal, in my opinion. I would do that today. If one of my friends got a deer and they said, hey, I'll trade you a deer quarter for an ounce of silver. I mean, a deer quarter can make up some good meat and it's good eating. Even today, it has value. It's a protein. A bean and a rice combined is a full protein. So, I mean, it's something to think about. I would want to have those, and they keep a long time. You can get some canning jars. You can do Mylar bags, a lot of different things that you can essentially buy that's going to put you in a good position to where you don't have to give up silver. I would want some mixed varieties of silver. I would also want some water on hand. Think about what could happen if the grid goes down. I mean, there's only so much water in that water storage tank that everybody probably has in their town. They have a water tower, and I never even really used to know what those things were for. I see them, but I didn't really understand the way they work, the way we have to use energy generators to pump that water all the way up to the top of that tower, and then it's connected to the main lines that feed the city. And when your house has water pressure, it's because that tower is full. Gravity is going to bring it down to you. But it's not going to take long before those towers run out of water if some major event happens. They may even shut the water off. I don't think that would come to that. I think they would probably try to keep the water on, but it would eventually run out because they wouldn't have the energy to pump it back up there. There's a lot of things that could happen. And if you've got food and you've got water, there's something else that's probably one more thing that might even be more important than gold or silver, a means to protect it. Because, if you have nothing, my opinion, people probably ain't going to come for you. But if you seem like you've got food, you've got water, maybe you're outside barbecuing because you don't have electricity in your house, and someone sees, they might be tempted to come for it. And that's where protection comes in. I would definitely want to have a means of protection to protect myself and my family. And even if I have nothing, the neighbors and the people around you in the city, they don't know what you have. They're going to be looking for opportunities. When Hurricane Harvey came, there was a whole lot of people, unfortunately, looting. When Katrina came, there was a lot of people looting. Now, yes, in both those situations, they had the military come in. It was kind of an isolated, localized event. And so the military came in and they basically brought in MREs. They brought in cases of water. In my case, they even brought in ice. And I was at ground zero for Hurricane Harvey. And, so a lot of people have this belief that, they'll come and they'll rescue us. Well, that's great if it's an isolated case. But if something was ever to happen that was U.S.-wide or worldwide, I don't know if you'd ever see a worldwide event, but a countrywide event is very possible. And if you don't have a means to protect yourself and protect your loved ones and protect your food and your resources, you could be in a really bad spot. Now, with that all being said, obviously medications, I should have put medications up there, but medications are important because if you take a medicine and you need it and you don't have it, then you probably ain't going to be too long if you really need it. But some people say your health conditions will change. I mean, obviously, if you're eating bare minimum, I'm probably going to lower my blood pressure, probably going to lose some weight, and so maybe I'll get healthier. But at first, you're definitely going to want them medicines, in my opinion. And last, that's where gold and silver comes in. Gold and silver is a great item that you can trade. You can barter it. It comes in handy. It's a wealth preservation. At some point, everything's going to come back up and running. Hopefully, there'll be a gold-backed currency at that point. If there's not, it's fiat currency. This is still going to have value. Now, the idea of, no one's going to want gold and silver, there's somewhere in the world that they're still going to want gold and silver. If Venezuela doesn't have food and they have gold and silver, someone will trade them food and water or whatever they need for their gold and silver. Maybe the U.S., maybe China, maybe somebody. So that's where gold and silver comes in, precious metals. So with that being said, make sure you're well-rounded. It's important, and I thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I didn't turn anybody off from the very beginning, and if I did, I apologize, but it's not like you would hear the apology because you would have already turned it off. So with that being said, thank you so much, those of you that made it to the end. I hope you hit the thumbs up video button, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time on T-Square Talk. Y'all have a great weekend. Got to go watch some football, barbecue. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.